All right. How's it going, guys? Good to be back. Good morning and
All
happy
right.
Monday. All right. So, hope everybody had a good weekend. And I don't have any trades in at this moment. We It's been pretty quiet so far um, since the week started. Good morning, Trade Sage. Let me get my charts all worked out before we get into some trading here. Okay, so we're going to just talk real briefly about what's happened in the news so far. Not a whole lot. We had uh, some of the IFO climate news, and it was shockingly pretty positive. And the euro didn't move much at all, actually. Uh, I mean, it just had this brief move up, which was only about 30 pips, and then it kind of corrected, moved back down. So not a lot there, which was kind of shocking. And the pound actually ended up moving up a little bit from last time we talked. But it also has moved back down as well. So we talked, or I mentioned to you guys in the last session I had, that we were looking at this area here and this one here. And I was thinking that there was going to be a bounce, or I was looking for a bounce at this level. Uh, and it did jump up a little bit, and there was a gap for the weekend as well right there. But not as much as I was thinking so far. It still could go up, uh, but it's been a pretty flat day. Okay. So, since there hasn't been a ton of news yet, I think I'm just going to get right into uh, the charts for today and talk about the technical side of things. Um, just because news later on this week, uh, things probably won't start moving until later on. Uh, Tomorrow there's some home sales that are coming out that potentially could move the USD. But I think the biggest news is Wednesday and Thursday as well. So midweek and also on Friday. So let's just get in some of the technical side, see what's going on. Okay, so let's talk about the Euro USD. Euro USD first. Uh, so it's been moving down slightly, and then there. So that's where it is so far. So I'm looking at this movement down, uh, and I won't be looking for any trades until I see this level here broken. So I want this to move down a little bit more. I think it will. I think that the bias for this pair is definitely uh, going down. I'm looking at these levels here, which were broken here, and then this is the new low that I'm looking for the support on. I think this will be broken probably today. I think it's the course of today or tomorrow, but I don't know. It's guess, and this could actually go up. If it does go up, it will probably test these two areas, and then potentially go down or break back up. So keep an eye on those levels, but right now it's in a downward motion, and we'll just have to wait and see if it continues down. All right. US dollar, Japanese yen. This has quite the push up. This push up has definitely died down a bit. It still has a lot of buying pressure, and I'm thinking that this will has hit a top and is potentially going to go down from there. I just don't think that the retracement or the correction has been enough down yet in order for this to continue back up. So my feelings is that it will go down even though it's in a trend, but it's just a call. It's a shot call. I don't really know what's going to happen here, but yeah, I think that this will go down. But if I'm thinking that this is going to go down more, then there's still potential for the euro to jump up because they are correlated. They're not always correlated, but when this is going up, the U.S. dollar Japanese yen is more than likely going down. It's not always the case, but it does happen quite a bit. Okay, I'm looking for trades to happen up here when this level is broken, and potentially when this level down here. Now I would be looking at this level here, but I don't think it's not that many pips from the top to the bottom. I think it's only like 100. I usually don't want it. Oh, it's 200 pips. So yeah, I will. 200 pips is enough. So I will be looking at that level, and I'll be looking up here. And you can see that prices in this area, and it still has a ways to go down or up before I take any trades on that pair. So I'll get into some. Actually, before we talk about the outlook, since I only started on the first two pairs, maybe we can talk about or I can mention what happened on Friday if some of you guys missed what we did or what I did. I didn't take any trades on the Euro US dollar on Friday. I mentioned that I thought this pair was too flat, and it was difficult for me to read since it was pretty much the least volatile pair out of a lot of the pairs that I trade. So I didn't like to pick any positions there. I had some positions on the pound, Australian dollar, the odd USD, and the euro, odd, and the US dollar Japanese yen last week. If we briefly look over what's happened with some of the positions that we took, we had a new high there and Harami, which we took, and the pair went down. We had another Harami and a new high there. Pair went down. We took 20 pips there. We had Harami here, then another here. I took both of those positions, so we had a new high. This one didn't go down. It just went down slightly, but it didn't go down enough for us to take profit. So I took the second one, and ended up taking profit right about in this area. So this went down, and this one went slightly up. The move down on the top was more than the first trade, so we took more profit on the second position than the first one, causing us to come out with 20 pips overall. And the move was a lot bigger than my take profit level, but I always play it safe. Okay, so that was with the Japanese yen, US dollar Japanese yen. Okay, so I think we took at least one trade on this pair. There was a good reversal candle here. That's not a Harami. That is we have a level that was hit twice, but this candle reached that same high level, and then it closed below the open of the previous candle. So let's zoom in a little bit. So this close here was lower than the open, just slightly. So that's a good candle indicating some downward movement. And then right after that, we had a new high and then a harami. I didn't take this right here. I don't think I was up. I think I was sleeping at the time. And so I missed that first trade. And then I took this one, which is unfortunate because this I typically take about 30 pips profit. So I guess I wouldn't have hit it. It would have been really close, 26 pips on that move. But I did take that one, and the pair moved 35, 36 pips for my entry. And so I barely hit profit on this trade. It moved back up. It made a new high. And this candle was not a reversal for me. I would want it to close below the open of the previous candle. As you can see, that didn't happen. But it did move down. It moved down in a big way. So even if we didn't hit our profit from this trade, if this didn't go down enough and it went back up, this resistance area up here did cause it to push back down in a bigger way. So we would have hit profit no matter what on that position. Okay, so that was a good trade. That was on Friday that I took that. Okay, now the Australian US dollar. Now this has been in a pretty big downtrend as of late since the 14th or 15th. This is the 14th really. Right at the end of near the end of the the session on Friday, I think it was at I think it was at like 2 p.m. that I took this position. You see this this move down, and then we had a harami here. It was actually a pretty good harami, and it was late in the session, but it looked really good to me. So I ended up taking it. And we only had a couple hours left of the session before it closed, and I did end up closing my trade right about here on this candle. On this candle here, so this one, and I ended up closing in this area, which was only so typically on these trades I take 20 to 30 pips, but since I closed it early, it was only about 10 or 11 pips. But I wanted to close it before the weekend. So I didn't have trades being held over the weekend. And it turns out that it would have been a great move for me to hold it over the weekend, but I'm not complaining. Yeah, I missed out on 10 pips, but that's not a big deal. Whatever. I'd rather close it out and have no trades for the weekend than holding on to something, even though this did move up and it would have easily taken my profit level. So let's see. Let's talk about my last trade that I took on Friday. This one was right. I saw this bearish engulfing. This technically would have been a reversal candle, but there's sometimes if there's a problem with these big candles like that. That I personally don't like. This is a 115 pip candle, which a lot of or 13 pip candle from the body of the candle. It's really big. There's a lot of movement in that one candle. It was because of some news that came out that caused this move to go down. But when that much move happens in one candle, a lot of times I won't take my position here. Even though this is a great looking new high, bearish engulfing candle, but I wouldn't have taken this entry just because I thought that too much movement would happen in this one candle, and the likelihood of it to continue, it's high, but it's also there's potential for it to bounce up in a big way right after that big move down, and so I didn't want to take that chance. And so I would want this candle to be a lot smaller in order for me to take a bearish engulfing. Okay. We had this trade here. I did not take this one. New high. This didn't quite break that high. It was a more sloppy of a signal, but it still was an entry, and it did move down after that. The candle that I did take though was the news push down, then this nice engulfing bullish candle. Uh, Now it closed above the open of the previous candle. It made a new low, and it also broke the high of the previous candle as well. So this candle to me was a great entry. I took it. It took about 2 hours or so for it to move up and close for 30 pips profit. This profit on this trade actually closed live on my last stream. Some of you were there to see that happen, so it was pretty cool to witness it happen. And so let's just get into what we're seeing now. I talked about these two, the Euro US dollar and the US dollar Japanese yen. The Euro Australian dollar, I talked about just the trades that I took on it, but let's see what's happening now. So we have this. Look at this triple top, triple bottom, and very much ranging this motion going on here. So I would imagine that it would potentially hit this level again up here, and we'll see if it breaks through or if it goes back down. Now, if some of you are wanting to looking for a trade, a lot of you may see that this is even though this is in the middle, this is the bottom, this is the top. If you're thinking, well, if it's going to reach this level again up here, why not buy here in this area and ride it up to there? And you could do that if you want to play that range a little bit. Nothing's sure. It's a 43 pips to that range again, or about 40 pips or so. This pair has been in big downtrend for a long while now, and just recently it broke out of it. Maybe make my lines a little bit straighter here. So yeah, so this area it broke out of that trend line, and then it's been in a range since that time. So my call on this pair would be, if you're looking at these levels, I'd be looking for this to push up again to up here before something happens. Is it going to hold this level, or is it going to shoot down or shoot up? Okay, I'm just looking at some of the comments to see if anybody's writing anything in. Okay, and let's look at the Euro Japanese yen. So we have this high point. Looking at this level, and looking at these, this level needs to be broken. So this needs to go down in order for me to counter that move and look for a move going or like a long position to go back up. So we still have a ways before that happens, before this is broken. And just a couple pairs left that we're going to mention about, but I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time today, guys, just because there's not a lot of action going on. So I'm not going to just bore you by talking about a bunch of nonsense when there's nothing really to talk about. Okay, so I'm looking at these levels on the pound Japanese yen. again on Friday, I talked about this level here and how I thought this would bounce. The pound pairs would bounce from there, and they have in a small way at this point. Not huge. Now it could still continue, or this could go down, back down, and test that level. So if you're looking at it as from a new trend standpoint, you could think that it's gonna break down, it's gonna break that level. So if you want to try to ride this small move here, you can do that. I mean, there's so many different things you can look at. Look at this. You see, there's this. There's also this support line. So that's what's so hard with or difficult with these, with trying to decipher what's going to happen with all these trend lines, these levels and stuff, because there's so many different things that you can put on here. You can do that. I mean, and that broke above. It's just what's really going to happen here. What I'm looking at, and the simplest thing to do is this level and that level. I'm looking for that to go above this or below this level. And then I'll take counter trend trades based on those moves. So this has a lot more to do before I take any positions. All right, and the last pair is the pound Australian dollar. Okay, this level I'm looking at. We talked about the higher lows and how this one here was broken, but this one was still pretty strong, and this could still see a bounce from there. I'm looking for these two levels here. So this needs to jump up past that level, and this needs to go down past this level. And so I am waiting, currently just waiting on this pair. But since it's been flat and not a lot of movement, at least not yet, and it's almost 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we just still haven't seen much action going on. Any questions that you guys might have? If you if you're in some trades right now, I can help you figure out what's going on with it, where I think the trend's going to go, if it's ranging, if it's flat. Yeah, any questions? Please let me know, because otherwise I'll probably just end in 5 minutes. Potter, no, I don't do the DAX. Since I trade just the 8 pairs, and Oanda doesn't. I only do currency pairs. So unfortunately, I can't help you out much there. And gold, I know a lot of you guys do gold too. Gold is another one I can't do. I can't do precious metals at Oanda, just currency pairs. NZD-CAD, yeah, I can do that one. If I can find it. There it is. Don't do dollar. What are you referring to? Because the DX, I thought you were referring to the DAX, but DXY. I mean, okay. Meanwhile, while I'm getting that clarified, maybe we can talk about the NZD Canadian. Just let me do a little bit of research on this. I still don't know what the DX or the DXY is. I don't know if I should or not, but yeah. Sorry, Potter. I guess it's the dollar something. The dollar what? Dollar index. Okay, yeah. Hold on a sec. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so the NZD CAD, Canadian. We're looking at a couple levels. Now, this level was just broken right here. Broke this last level, this last high, and is now moving up in this kind of way here. If you're looking at the levels, again, you can see here the new lower lows. I'm just searching on the 1 hour chart right now, and this broke this level as well, and then we have in 2 minutes this could close out in a inside candle or harami here, and then potentially head back down. New high was made. This move from the bottom to the top, it's not huge. The New Zealand CAD is, I'm not sure how volatile this pair is, but usually my rule is that I don't want to take any candlestick patterns unless a move is larger than 150 to 200 pips. And as you can see here, this is really cutting it close. If we're really looking at the bottom to the top, it's like 147 pips or something like that. So, well, why don't we keep for the next few minutes? Why don't we keep an eye on this trade here, or this potential trade using my system? You know, I trade 8 pairs because I know that they react well to my candlestick patterns. I mean, I imagine that for the most part, other pairs will as well. So we could see what happens with this pair. If it does close inside, I would imagine that the potential for it to go down from there is good, especially after breaking this high. So what did you want to know about the dollar index, Potter? I also don't have this chart, unfortunately. But I probably should get some charts up with these other pairs, so I can at least talk about them since Oanda is so limited, unfortunately. Just thought, seeing as you're into reversals, should come a long way. What your opinion would be? I find it useful to watch. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it would be, but like I said, I don't have that. Uh, since I only do currency pairs. So what I'm going to do, since a lot of you guys have questions in regards to that stuff, I can still talk about candlestick patterns with gold and with the dollar index and other things as well. Oil, and maybe I can pull up another broker so I can potentially talk about those things with you guys. Is it a basket of USD pairs, mainly USD though? Euro USD. Uh, Maybe you should clarify that a little bit. But if you're asking when I basket trade, if it's mostly on the Euro US dollar, no, it depends on the pair. My other USD pair is the US dollar Japanese yen and the odd USD as well, and also the pound USD. So I will basket trade on all those. So back to our NZD Canadian dollar. It did close inside. Let me just double check. The high was 92285, and then the high of this candle was 92287. So it was really close. I mean, it did close just barely above, but to me, that's not enough. It's usually if it's a pip difference, then it's usually fine. So if I were trading this pair, I would likely enter my position there um, on right here, looking for it to go down. I don't know how how many pips I would take here. I'd probably take 20 pips profit on that potential pair. There is the problem. There is a big problem with the New Zealand pairs is they don't follow price action as well. The candlesticks, at least from the brief time that I spent with them, they still follow them, but it's a little bit harder to trust. For example, let's give you. I mean, these Harami candles are happening all over the place. There's this one here, this one here. I mean, this one moved down, but this one did as well. But there are a lot of them that just don't obey very well. I mean, this is considered a bullish engulfing as well. That's why I just don't like trading this pair very much because of that reason. I just don't feel like it follows the price action techniques quite as well. It's a little harder to read. Um, and it moves like this. Look at this. Look at these kind of moves where it moves straight up and there's almost no retracements in that trend. A lot of people love that because it gives you a really strong move, very clean, especially if you're in the right direction. But there's not a lot of cutbacks, and I love shooting on pairs that have good pullbacks. Okay. Uh, Yeah, I do know, Potter, a lot of people that do basket trading on the dollar index, because, and the reason why is because of the type of movement that it gives, and it's good for basket trading. I haven't had a lot of experience with it, but I've had some colleagues uh, that know how to trade it a little bit, and they also do basket trading on it. Yeah, it does have a very good correlation to the EU. I never trade in ZA pairs. They are all over the place. Messes me right up. Yes, they are. Like I was just saying, they can be a little difficult to trade, but some people love them because of the way they move. Um, and uh, but for me, I kind of stick away from them. Not to mention a lot of times the spreads are pretty high on them as well. Yeah, maybe I'll check that out, Potter. That's a good suggestion. I'll take a look at the dollar index to see. I'm not sure how much it will help me, but I guess it can't hurt to check it out at least. Any other pairs that you guys want me to look at? I hope that what I said on the NZD CAD is helpful. Where I think that there could be some retracement here happening. Whoa, retracement there going down, um, testing this level and then jumping back up. I'll just run down the pairs real quickly. Okay, I don't see any trades coming up at all yet for me. What's basket trading? Okay, uh, basket trading is basically where you have, it's not grid trading. A lot of people confuse it with grid trading. It's when you enter trades at multiple levels, multiple trades at multiple levels. So let's see if I can give you an example. Um, so it's basically if you, let's say you entered a trade, a buy position here, 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 here. So you'd have buy position 1, 2, 3, 4. So you had 4 buys and you close out all of them roughly right here. So the market moved down and then moved back up. Now, these two positions, position 3 and 4, closed right here for a profit, while position 1 and 2 closed out at a loss because this is going downward, right, towards that profit level, downward. And closing it at that level means that those two at the top would be a loss, but the bottom two would be at more of a profit. And so profit from trade 3 and 4 would be substantially more than the loss from trade 1 and 2, causing us to come out with an overall profit in the end, if all closed out at the same time. Now, basket trading can be pretty much anything. It can be levels, if you want to do levels. If you want to do trend lines, you can do it that way, entering there, entering here, here, and here. There's tons of different ways you can do it. You can also do it based on a totally different method of based on Fibonacci's or some other indicator. But I like to do basket trading based on support and resistance by using the 1 and 4 hour chart. Yeah, Potter, I'm just reading some of your comments still. Yeah, I mean, that's I guess that's one of the drawbacks of Oanda is being able to look at other things other than currency pairs. But you know what? It's not totally killer for me because I like trading just currency pairs. I like staying focused. I don't like bouncing out and getting into other markets when it's not necessary. I don't think it's necessary to trade multiple markets if you're doing just fine in one. Um, so that's kind of what I like to do. I like to focus on just a few things. So like I don't trade 20 pairs. I trade 8. The reason why I trade 8 is just so I understand and learn these pairs really well, learn their behaviors, learn what's normal, what's not, what news is reacting towards the pairs, um, and the correlations between the ones I trade too. A lot of people are specialists. Yeah. Thanks, Potter. Okay. Yeah, I know, Potter. I hate this lag too. If you're If you're talking about the stream lag, it's about 8 seconds long. So if I had a call to make for you guys, uh, for any kind of trade, it's definitely on the Euro Australian dollar. Now it's not for my type of trading, like the counter trend, but it would be here, moving up to this level and retesting this level up here. Yeah, so it's got this range going on. Potentially could take advantage of it. Now, that doesn't mean that this is going to actually come into fruition and this will go up, but I think that's the best option right now for any trading. And let's see how our NZD CAD is doing. It's just kind of sitting there now. uh, but yeah. Any other questions before I sign off? I'll be here tomorrow at the same time, guys. 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. We'll see if I take any trades later on today or during the stream tomorrow. All right. I don't think we have any more questions, so I think I'm going to sign off. Been kind of a boring trading day so far. Maybe things will speed up later in the session, but I'm actually kind of doubting it. So yeah. All right. Well, you guys have a great trading day, and I'll see you tomorrow.